Today I'm going to be showing you pro player top 200 4-5-1 custom tactics and play instructions. So let's get straight into it. So 4-5-1 is quite an attacking formation. You can see we've got the tactics up here. So defensive style we're going to be sticking with balanced. I don't really want to use a press on this one because your players, you can see here the shape of the formation. There's not really that many defensive players, is there? Most of them are quite attacking because it's a very attacking shape. So using a press is going to push that high up the pitch and make it harder for you to come back on defend. So you don't really want to be using a press on that. Balanced works fine. For the width, we're going to be sticking with 50 width. No point changing that. Not really any need for it. 50 width works fine. And for the depth, we're using 45. Usually I like to use quite a high depth, usually about 60 or 70. But we're going to be using 45 today because it's quite an attacking formation, like I've said already. Not really very many defensive players. You want to bring the formation back and not push it up too high, or you're going to be way too open on a counter-attack. So for your offensive stuff, for your build-up play, I recommend fast build-up. It works really well passing it around the ball, getting the ball to these centre mids and the two cams there, and then getting it out to your left mid, right mid to put in a cross, or a through ball to your striker from your cams or your centre mid. The centre mid is the most important position on this formation, because if I go back for a second, you can see here, he's sort of in the middle of everything. He needs to distribute the ball to your left mid, right mid, to your cams, and also to your striker to make through balls as well. Triangles with your cams, triangles with even your centre backs as well. I don't really like passing to my centre backs because it can be quite dangerous if you lose the ball, but sometimes it's necessary and sometimes it can create gaps for your attacking players to make runs and stuff like that, which is why we're using the direct passing feature alongside, with the chance creation thing. Direct passing is pretty much self-explanatory. It's direct passing, they're making those forward players making those runs behind the opposition defenders, and it's pretty much just to get your centre mids and your cams, get the ball straight to your attackers and make those runs quickly. For the width, we're going to be using 50 width. No point changing the shape of the formation. It's quite a good shape as it is, and you don't really want to mess with it too much and push it out too wide. Otherwise, you're going to have barely anyone in the middle, and that central midfielder is going to be too vulnerable on his own. For the players in box, we're using 4. Normally, I like to put this up to about 6 or 7, but there's so many players already far forward, and you're going to see in a minute why I'm saying this with the player instructions. But we're using 4 players in box because then we're going to manually choose who we want to go in the box with the player instructions I'm going to show you in a minute. Corners on 2 and free kicks on 2. Right, so now for the player instructions, our strikers on stay central, getting behind, and basic defense support. I usually use stay forward, but you want the extra help, so I'm going to use basic defense support. Stay central is staying in the centre of the pitch in line with the opposition's goal, and getting behind and making those forward runs behind the opposition defenders, which works well with the direct passing feature we're using. Right, for the two cams, we're going to be using the same on both of them. If I can get to the cam. Right, come back on defence just to help out when defending. It's not going to change their position massively. Just sometimes they're going to come back. Well, they're going to come back when defending, making it easy for you to defend, but still playing as a cam. Obviously, when you're attacking, and we're going to be using get into the box for cross. This is why we put 4 on the players in box, because we're going to manually choose who we want in the box. So we're going to have our 2 cams always in the box. So get into the box for cross means every time there's going to be a cross coming in or something like that, making runs, they're always going to be getting into the box. Both your cams and also your striker as well. For your left mid and right mid, for these, we're going to be using come back on defence as well to help out with the defending. Stay wide. Some people use cut inside. There's just no point really. It just makes it narrower, makes it harder for you to get crosses in. And if you want to cut inside, you can do it manually. But we're going to be using stay wide, really maximise the width of the pitch, play as wide as possible. Getting behind, making forward runs behind the defender, same as the striker. And for him, we're using stay on edge of box across. If we go with like 6 or 7 on the players in box over here, then it's going to push our left mid and right mid into the box, and we don't want to be doing that. We want them on the edge of the box, getting crosses in and sort of getting long shots and stuff like that. We don't really want our left mids and right mids into the box, so we're going to be using stay on edge of box or cross just to make sure that doesn't happen as well. And then normal interceptions, as on both your left mid and for your right mid. For your centre mids, well, your one centre mid, stay back while attacking. He's still going to play in centre mid. Doesn't mean he's dropping deep. It just means he's going to stay in the centre mid position and not be pushing up. Stay on the edge of box or cross just to 100% ensure that he's not going to be going into the box. He's always going to be staying on the edge. Cover centre as well, so he's staying in the centre and not drifting out wide. That's very important. Most formations I really do try and overload the box. I want to try and get every player possible into the box, but not on this formation. For some reason it just doesn't work when you try and overload the box. You get completely open to a counter attack, and you're basically going to concede about 400 goals a game. So stay on edge of box or cross for your centre mid. 2 centre backs, just always leave default. Never change your centre backs really, and your full backs stay back while attacking. You don't need them overlapping. You've already got enough wide players. You've got your left mid and right mid. You don't need your fullbacks overlapping as well. So stay back while attacking, staying back in the defensive shape. Run type I put on overlap anyway, but it doesn't really matter about this because you're using stay back while attacking. And then lastly, for your goalkeeper, comes across here, so your keeper's coming off his line more to defend corners and crosses. And also sweeper keeper, be more aggressive, challenging loose balls and free balls from your opponent. And that's everything for today's video, guys. That's a 4-5-1 pro player, top 200 custom tactics and instructions. Thank you for watching. It's quite an attack information. We've sort of gone with quite attacking tactics today as well. But that's everything for today's video. Thank you for watching. It would be greatly appreciated if you could subscribe. It really helps me out. If you've got any questions as well, let me know in the comments. I'll reply as quickly as possible. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.